talking about what it means to be an entheogenic leader. There's a lot of opportunities today in the world, in the US, in the West, to experience experiences that some label as psychedelic experiences. And some of those overlap with what we call entheogens. And entheogens are plants and medicines that help us to awaken our inner divinity. They help us to connect to our higher knowing and our capacity to be divine creators ourselves. And so within these worlds and within these environments, of course, there's all kinds of people who stand in leadership positions. And sometimes it's hard to ascertain who are standing as leaders and acting as leaders and who are acting out of some sort of agenda or some sort of grandiosity, right? An egoic agenda. And I think it's natural for us to all be tempted by certain places and certain ways of being, right? It's easy to get tempted by those things. But it's important that if we're going to be putting ourselves in a situation where we're opening up our awareness and we're opening up our hearts and our souls and our bodies to be cared for, that the people who are caring for us and who are holding that container, that set and setting, that those people be people with high integrity and capable of leading in a really good way. So I've identified what I believe are the four of the main points that we can identify who the leaders are in this world. Number one, those who are doing their own work, right? It's so important that if we are wanting to be held or if we're wanting to be given some sort of scenario or some sort of healing experience, that the people who are leading those experiences themselves make a priority their own self-care and their own deep work with that very essence that they're working with. So that is number one, I think. Number two, they have to be motivated by a sense of service. So what does that mean? It means that when you choose to be a leader in these places, working with entheogens, that you yourself have experienced deep healing or breakthroughs or expanded awareness, many things that we can experience in the entheogenic space. And so from your own experience within those spaces, you have come to an awareness, a gratitude, an appreciation for what is being offered to you from these master plant teachers. And from that, there arises a natural sense of a desire to be of service. Number three, I would say you have to have a strong alignment with the entheogen that you're working with. Not every entheogen is for every person, and not every practitioner or participant will be called to every entheogen. There are particular paths and particular plants that we find ourselves being called to. So it's important to feel that alignment with your particular path, with your particular call, and to know that you want to focus in and really own in your awareness, your attunement, your alignment with that particular entheogen. So that's number three, an alignment. And then number four, being aligned with a lineage is very important. And so I know for some that's controversial. A lot of people are what we call self-proclaimed leaders or practitioners in entheogenic ways. And it's my experience that in order to be a true leader, we have to participate in what's called relational economy. And that means that we're not alone in anything that we accomplish, in any healing that's given to us, in any grace that's bestowed upon us. None of that just comes from our own essence alone. There always is ancestors, elders, teachers, the plants themselves, the lineages and the thousands of years sometimes that go into cultivating cultural practices to keep people safe, that contribute to a person's healing experience. And so it's very important that we don't reinvent the wheel, so to speak, with coming in and thinking that in one or two experiences, we're now an expert. If you look at the traditions that have held these ways for so long, there's two pitfalls there. One is, are we appropriating, right? Are we taking something that doesn't belong to us culturally and using it with some sort of ulterior motive? And two, are we going to create unsafe environments for people? And are we going to create destruction thereby? So we have to be very careful. It's a very serious responsibility that falls to us if we're feeling aligned or called to a path, to make sure that we're doing it in the best possible way. And so it serves everyone. If you look, it serves our own well-being and the well-being of those who practice under us and with us, to make sure that we have good guidance and that we have good, solid mentoring, right, in our pathways. So making sure that these leaders are doing their own work. And if you're a leader, making sure you're doing your own work. Number two, make sure that the motivation for leadership comes from a place of service. Number three, make sure that you're strongly aligned with that path, with that entheogen. And number four, make sure that you have a lineage of wisdom that you can turn to help guide you. And so those are my reflections on what constitutes leadership in the entheogenic worlds and pathways. As always, love, light, and healing to you. Have a wonderful day.